Right, question 1. James invests 4,500 in savings at 1.7% interest for 5 years. How much is his investment worth at the end of 5 years? So first of all, I need to find the multiplier. We're going to start with 100%, and because it's an investment, we add on 1.7%. So that becomes 101.7%. Change that to a multiplier to 1.017. So this is the mistake people normally make. They write 1.17 instead of 1.017. So be careful when changing to a decimal. So now I've got my initial 4,500 times by 1.017 to the power of 5. And that works out to be 4,895.73 to the nearest penny. Make sure in the question if it asks to round to the nearest penny or the nearest pound, because that's a mistake people make, rounding to the wrong value. Question 2. Work out the interquartile range. So this is the initial value, the smallest value, sorry. This is the highest value. The middle value is the median. And this bit here is the lower quartile. And this bit is the upper quartile. So to work out the interquartile range, I need the upper quartile value take away the lower quartile value. So I see that the upper quartile is 1.7 and the lower quartile to be 0.8. So the interquartile range is 1.7 taken away 0.8, which is 0.9. So for the next one, calculate an estimate for the mean. So an estimate for a mean means it's not the exact value, and that's because there's 15 within the range of 0 and 30, and we don't know the exact value. So first of all, I need to work out the midpoint of each of these. So that's 15, 35, 45, 60, and 85. And then multiply the frequency by the midpoint for each one. So 22 times 35 is 770. 28 times 45 is 1,260. 30 times 60 is 1,800. And 9 times 85 is 765. Once I've done that, I need to add up this column and add up the frequency column. So the frequency column adds up to 104, and this end column adds up to 4,820. So to work out the estimate of the mean, I'm going to divide 4,820 by 104. So, which gets me 46.35 to 2 decimal places. Right, so for question 4, factorise x squared minus 36. This one is a special case. It's called the difference between two squares. So I can just square root both. So we've got x, square root of 36, which is 6. One's going to be a plus and one's going to be a minus. Done. So cumulative frequency. We need to make sure we're not getting this mixed up with the estimate for the mean or the working out the histogram. So cumulative frequency means you just collect as you go. So the first one's going to be 3. The next one is going to be 3 plus 10, which is 13. The third one, I'm then going to add on 21 to get 34. Then I'm going to add on 4 to get 38. And then finally that one at the end, 39. If I wanted to plot that as a graph, you end up plotting the n number and the cumulative frequency, and you end up with some sort of S-shaped curve. Question 6, to find the turning point. So first of all, I need to complete the square. So I halve this value, which is 3. Put it in brackets, take away 2 and take away the 3 squared. It is always take away here. If this is a plus, this will still be a takeaway. Simplify that. X minus 3 squared. Take away, well, 3 squared is 9, so that'd be minus 11. And the turning point is when this equals 0, so x would be 3, and this minus 11. And that's the coordinate. If we've seen that on a graph, that would look something like this, and it'll be this point here. Right. Question 7, when the acceleration is 0. So that means if I draw a line, it will have no gradient, and that is at this point here. So I look across, so you might have it slightly different, but I can see that it is at time 9.8 seconds, roughly. You may have slightly different. Question number 8. Find the value of y. So I can use my circle theorems for this. So this is a tangent, because this would carry on, and this is a radius, so that means this is a right angle here. I've got a triangle that adds up to 180, so this must be 44. I've then got a straight line here, so this one must be 136. And then this triangle here, because this is the radius, this is also the radius, so these are the same size. So this is an isosceles triangle. And do 180, take away 136 to get 44. And then 44 divided by 2, which is 22. So y equals 22. Question number 9. Now this is quite difficult. You might run out of space for this one, so I'll try and write really small. Calculate the area. So I've got 2 non-right angle triangles. So for the first one, I'm going to use a half AB sine C to work out the area. So half times 5 times 7 times sine 38 gets me 10.77. So that's the area of this bit. To work out the area of the bit at the bottom, I need this length here, but I also need this one as well. So I need to work that out. And I'm going to use the cosine rule, which is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. So I'm just going to label this x. So x squared equals 5 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 5 times 7 times cos 38. Type that all in the calculator and you should get 18.84. Now that is x squared, so I need to square root that answer to get 4.34 to 2 decimal places. So now I know this one, I'll be able to work out the small triangle at the bottom using the formula from before. So a half times 4.34 times by 6 times by sine 12. Type that into the calculator and you get 2.71. So finally, once you've got your 2 answers, I can add up my 2 areas, which I've just circled there. So the final area will be 13.48 centimetres squared. Right, Last but not least, question number 10. What is the radius of the circle with an equation x squared plus y squared equals 36? So here is just r squared, so I can just square root that answer. So the radius equals 6. Now the second part says, at what point does the circle cross the x-axis? So when it crosses the x-axis, that means the y-coordinate equals 0. So I can substitute y equaling 0 into this equation. X squared plus 0 squared equals 36. So x squared equals 36. X equals 6. So that means the coordinate is 6, 0. And we also know this because, think about it, the centre is 0, 0. So the furthest point will be 6. That would be minus 6 there, 6 and minus 6 there. So it doesn't just cross at 6, it also crosses at minus 6, 0. And that's because when we square root a number, we get two answers. X can be plus or minus 6.